friends, and welcome. So glad that you're here. If you have ever been paralyzed by the need for perfection or a fear of making the wrong decision, you are not alone. It is time to explore why decision making, even if it's not perfect, is better than no decision at all. And so I welcome you. We're going to get started here in just a moment. See you in a second. Hey, friends, welcome to today's live stream. We are talking about the most important thing I think you can do in your day to day life and your business to make the biggest impact. It's actually not sales, it's not making offers. It's not even delegating, which if you know me, I love. It is all about decision making because when we can make a decision quickly, we can move forward, get a result, figure out if we need to shift and make another decision and keep moving forward. So if you have ever been paralyzed by making a decision because you weren't sure it was the right one, I'm here to tell you that it is time to explore why making a decision, even if it's not perfect, is better than no decision at all. If we haven't met before, I'm Deanna Maio, and I'm your guide on this leadership journey. I am the proud owner and director of The Vivid Woman, where I have been helping business owners like you to lead with more confidence and innovation, to get bigger and better results from your team, and to have a team that feels excited to work with you. Everyone's rowing their oars and their boat in the same direction, and they are proud to be a part of your team. We are all about transforming leadership style to help you go from being a micromanager, perhaps, to being able to be your authentic self, making smart, bold choices. So today's session is for you if you have ever hesitated to make a decision because you were scared it wouldn't be the right or perfect choice. If you have ever found yourself worrying or second guessing or delaying a decision because you're not sure if it's the right one, if the fear of making the wrong move has ever kept you up at night, helped you be distracted during your day when you know you need to make the decision or you can't move forward. And if you're looking for ways to build your confidence in decision making, embracing imperfection more and more every single day, welcome to the club. We have jackets. I am one of those people as well. You are not alone. I always want to be getting better, building my confidence, and embracing imperfection more and more and more. So let's start with why this is an issue, right? Why is the quest for the perfect decision or the right decision a major problem, especially for business owners? Well, in no particular order, we will often miss out on an opportunity if we don't make a decision in a timely manner or if we're waiting to make a decision until we know it's right. And as much as I don't like to think about competition, I'm me. If you like me, great. If you don't, go to somebody else. Your competition might not hesitate. They might leap ahead while you're still deliberating, and you lose out on the opportunity of helping that person, making that sale, making a bigger impact, and feeling fulfilled. Another reason why this is a problem, and if you can relate to any of this, I would love for you to let me know. Drop me a live in the comments if you're joining me live. drop me a replay if you're joining me in the comments um, on the replay. Drop me a replay in the comments if you're here for the replay. That was in English, just in case you folks were wondering. I want to thank Kathleen from being here from Seattle. Hi, Kathleen. 23 years in the Pacific Northwest here. I miss a lot of it. I don't miss a lot of it, especially this time of year. So, welcome. Glad you're here. I also see Carmela from my team is here. Hey, so glad you're here as always. We are only as good as the people supporting us, and I'm one of the most blessed women in the world because of my amazing team. All right, so let's get back to why this is an issue. As if you didn't know, when we have a decision hanging on our to-do list or just in our mind, we can end up with so much anxiety. Anyone ever get anxiety from a decision they need to make? So then we have this decision paralysis. We feel like maybe there's a guilt or shame because we haven't made the decision yet. We don't want to make the wrong one. And I totally get it. So we have the anxiety, then we might have more stress. And then this comes with this cycle of self-doubt and second guessing. And that can be a really tough cycle to break. Am I the only one? No? Okay, good. There's many reasons why not making a decision because we're concerned it's not going to be right or perfect is a problem. The third one I want to share with you today is when you're unable to make a decision swiftly, it not only impacts your agility as a business, but it can also hamper your personal growth as a leader. We stagnate because we're not learning from real time feedback or mistakes. And I actually just experienced this week. So I wasn't planning on sharing this, but I will tell you. I'm in a storytelling program right now where I'm learning to tell stories. Just a little foreshadowing. This is not a story I planned in advance, so don't judge me on how it comes out. But part of the storytelling program is a mission, a story to write every day. And the last 2 days, I was really feeling stuck because I couldn't make a decision. Luckily, I got past it. I did the mission from yesterday to today, so I'm back on track a bit. I still have today's to do, but the point is, if I don't go through these missions, if I don't make the effort, regardless of how perfect the outcome might be, I'm not growing through the process. Glad to see some of you joining us. Hi, so glad you're here. Yes, when in doubt, when making a decision, when in doubt, don't. That's interesting. And I think that applies in some situations. But here's what I will say outside of death, pretty much everything else is reversible. I'd say make a decision, figure out what the result is, discern what the result was. If you want to keep going that way, keep going that way. If you don't make another one and move on. It's not always true though. So don't send me hateful emails if you don't like my everything is reversible except for death comment. All right. So let's move into the tips because I know that's why you're here. I love sharing insights and actionable advice because knowledge isn't power, folks. Not anymore. If you are a business owner, it's applied knowledge that is power. We need to have something in our mind that we can do differently. Glad to have Lucretia here. Glad that you're here. All right, so here's the dealio. Tip number 1. Ooh, it's so painful. Even coming out of my mouth, it tastes a little bitter. And that is embracing good enough. Not in every instance, but often good enough is more than enough. And I want to encourage you to strive for progress, not perfection. I quite literally just sent this in a DM to a colleague today about my experience in this storytelling program. So, how can I go about embracing good enough more often? Here's what I'd recommend. This is just some guidance for you to consider. Most of us have one of these things attached to us at the hip. This is my phone, in case you can't tell. And it's got a timer on it. You can't see my screen because it's too bright. I've got a timer right here. I've got my clock and my timer. Okay, so here's the deal. Set a timer for decision making. Maybe you start with an hour. Or maybe, depending on the decision, you set it for 30 minutes. Maybe for a big decision, you give yourself a few days. It really doesn't matter. What matters is you are causing the decision to be made if you live within the construct of when the timer is up, it's time. Is it always easy? No. Is it worth it? Yeah. Think about the last decision you made where you took far longer than you would have liked to make it. Doesn't really matter what it is. Now, let me ask you this. By the way, the answer is what I'm leading you to. Would it have been better, perhaps, to have known the outcome of the decision sooner so that you could course correct and go in a different direction? Or celebrate and have the results of the decision if it ended up being the right one? Yeah. All right. Second tip. And as you hear these, I'm going to ask you to give me some feedback, right? So if you get a golden nugget of some kind, and, I am pulling this directly from one of my colleagues and friends and coaches, Molly Mahoney, just throw hashtag nugget into the comments and then give me your golden nugget that you want to make sure you remember and you take away, or your feedback from me. It would really help me out a lot knowing what's landing for you. And also, if you take action, you're much more likely to remember it. And I want you to take this knowledge and turn it into applied knowledge for power. All right. Second tip, reduce your options. Oh boy. Sometimes we just have too many options and we can feel overwhelmed and confused. I remember when I bought my first home, I wanted to repaint the dining room. Now, this is not a life or death business decision. But do you know how difficult it can be to pull different paint samples and decide which one is right? I remember I went just looking for white. Do you know how many whites there are? There's whites that are blue, there's whites that are yellow, there are whites that tint towards the purple or lavender. There's so many whites. Why do we need that many whites? I don't know. But the point is, I had to reduce my choices, or I could have stayed with my dining room unpainted. I mean, who knows? Maybe forever, honestly. And you think, oh, Deanna, but that's not a big deal. It's just painting a room. It doesn't really matter. I wanted it to be the way I wanted it to be. Of course, I could repaint it. I wasn't even going to paint it to begin with. Painting things is not my natural gift. I don't believe myself to be detail oriented enough naturally to do that well. I have to really focus and stretch into my detail orientedness. So, reduce your choices. Here's a way you can do that. You can create a pros and cons list for each of your top 3 options. List out the advantages and the disadvantages of each choice. Consider the factors. Is it possible? The cost, the time investment, the potential outcomes. And having that visual may very well help you to weigh the decisions more easily because you can see how long the pros are. You can see how long the cons are and make a more informed decision. I'm just right now, as I'm saying this, I realize I actually have a tool that I could share with all of you on how to narrow down your choices. If you're interested in that, send me a DM message over on Facebook at uh, m.me/Deanna Mayo. I'm actually going to put that on the screen right now because I'm just realizing that I had this tool and I can share it with you. So we're going to call it a free gift because I love goodies. I love gifts. If you want my decision-making options reduction tool, that's not what it's called. That's so very cerebral. You can message me over at m.me/Deanna Mayo. I'm putting that into on the screen right now for you. This tool has saved me so much time and headaches by reducing options. The other thing it's really great at, and this is another problem with decision making, is having things in priority order. So if you ever get kind of overwhelmed, I think of it like being in a blender. I'm just spinning around inside the blender. I can't catch the walls. please don't hesitate to message me over there and I will get you a link to it. And then I'll have it ready in the future so that we can pop it onto the screen, a direct link to it to the screen. And Carmela's going to remember that because she's amazing and I don't always remember things. All right, let's move on to our next tip. When it comes to making decisions, especially for women business owners, and I'm just going to call it out, gals, because I relate to this one so much that I'm willing to call it out and throw myself under the bus a little bit. Sometimes I want feedback from other people, and that is great. Except I want you to seek input, not permission. Seek input, not permission. We want to gather insights and perspectives from trusted people. Now, that might be that the right people to weigh in on your decision are your team members. It could be your mentors. It could be your family and friends, depending on what it is. But remember, the final call is yours, and you don't need permission from anybody, as far as I'm concerned, on making your decision. So, how can we do this? Well, one way might just be one-to-one conversations or messages with those trusted people. Of course, we want to keep in mind that if we're asking for help on a decision related to our marketing or sales, please, please, please ask those people in your target market. I know I don't talk about marketing and sales a whole lot here because that's not my current focus for working with my clients, but I'm a marketer, I'm a salesperson, and I used to coach and consult around marketing and sales before I got focused on helping people with their teams and their productivity. So make sure that if you're asking about a logo or a website design, ask the people who you would want to have buy from you. That's a little bonus tip. You're welcome. Okay, how do we seek input and not permission? You might want to host a brainstorming session or a focus group with key stakeholders. Gather up their insights and their perspectives, and you make the decision. I call that a consultative decision-making process. They're consulting, and you're the final say. And when you do this, you can use facilitation techniques like a round robin discussion. You can have people vote for choices. And just allow them to contribute, but make sure you tell them from the get-go you'll be making the final decision, and you're so grateful for their support so that you can do that with their advice. All right, our next tip. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, but before I share it, I want to say that if you streamline your decision-making process, I want you to just really connect right now with what is possible for you. So imagine when you go into a decision, you feel confident you're going to make the right choice. And then with every decision, you build more and more confidence in your judgment. Wouldn't that be amazing? Quick, thoughtful decisions lead to faster execution and learning. I've said it like 6 times already today, but the quicker you make the decision, the quicker you see the results, the quicker you can course correct or keep going. Indecision leads us from being able to seize opportunities or move forward with things. I've had friends and clients who have waited for years to make a decision, and they make it, and it makes them a whole bunch of money. They get to help a whole bunch more people, and they could have had that income so much sooner and had that impact so much sooner if they had just decided. Am I saying every decision needs to be a quick one? No. You know when you want to have decisions made by, and I know that for many of us, it takes us longer because we're worried about the outcome. We're worried about making the right decision. We're worried about it being perfect. All right. The third outcome I want you to consider of what happens is when you make decisive decisions. That's so repetitive. That's not even real English. Hey, I'm real, folks. You like it or you don't, but I'm real. When you make a faster decision, when you act decisively, let me say it that way, your team sees that. They see you as a leader. They trust your instincts. And then they have more excitement and engagement, and their morale goes up and their productivity is higher because they know that no matter what happens, you've got their back. Have you ever been on a team where you didn't feel like you could really trust your leader? Most of us have. Yeah, Lucretia, you're absolutely right. Decision fatigue is real. It's real for many of us as business owners. I can remember I would come into town to visit my family, and my mom, who is so lovely and she wants everyone to be so happy, she'd say, "Where would you like to go eat lunch today?" And I had just had it up to here with decisions. And I'd say, "Mom, I can promise you," and we don't use that word in my family lightly. It means a promise. I can promise you wherever you choose, I will find something to eat and be happy. I would love not to make that decision. So there you go. All right. So let's talk about how you can take this further. One of the things that people hesitate on or delay a decision about is getting a project started or delegating a task to someone on their team. If that is you, or you just like to be better at delegating and delegate more smartly, I want to help you get my secret weapon, and that is my one-page delegation simplifier. I'm just noticing when I put that caption up on the screen, I didn't type and spell gift very well. This is what happens when you have trifocals and really small text on the screen. A free Gert. Who wouldn't want that, right? Don't delay getting your free Gert today. All right, let's try that again. My free gift is my choice elimination tool. Carmela, can you maybe go into the captions and change that for me and call it what it really is? The choice elimination tool. That'd be amazing. And I want some of you to know that you can take your delegations further. You can get more help from your existing team. You don't have to hire more people. You can say goodbye to micromanagement. Who wouldn't like to do that? Or worrying that you need to be micromanaging people to get things done right? I know what you think sometimes. If I want it done right, I have to do it myself. That's right. So, if you want streamlined processes and you want your team to feel good about taking on work, you don't want them hesitating on decisions because they don't know what they're supposed to do. They don't feel like they have a clear expectation or outcome in mind. Well, I want to invite you to get your copy of my one-page delegation simplifier tool. And you can do that over at deanna.live/delegate. You can also grab it by taking a picture of this QR code here and getting a copy for yourself. It is my secret weapon for planning delegations quicker and I was going to say quicker and faster. That's the same word. Quicker, more easily, in a way that your team can move forward more quickly without them having to come back to you with a crazy amount of questions. Yeah. All right. Tip number 4. This is our final tip for today on our topic of choosing wisely without fearing whether it's going to be perfect or not. And that is to really practice mindfulness when it comes to decision making. So, for those of you that don't know, or maybe you want a refresher, I think of mindfulness as the practice of trying to be fully present and aware of what you're thinking, what your feelings are, what your surroundings are without judgment. That's the key there, isn't it, folks? And it really involves consciously directing our attention to the moment we're in right now, observing our self talk, observing our feelings, our physical feelings, but also our emotional feelings, and without getting caught up in them or reacting impulsively. In the context of decision making, mindfulness is all about helping you become more attuned to your internal thought process and how you respond emotionally. And then you can recognize where that perfectionism or other biases come up and how they might influence your decisions or influence your action of not taking action and making the decision. Yes, Kathleen, I'm so sorry. A DM is Facebook Messenger, direct message. And yes, you can. We're going to find you on Facebook, Kathleen, and we're going to send you a message. How about that? Carmela, can you make a note that we're going to make sure that Kathleen can get her copy of our choice elimination tool? I'm going to come up with a better name, I promise, folks. And yes, SOP, standard operating procedure. I'm a big fan. And yeah, actually, let's put our choice elimination tool link in the comments as well. Carmela, could you do that for me on Facebook? That would be amazing. Little homage there to Kim's Convenience if you haven't seen that TV program. All right, so mindfulness and decision making. When we cultivate mindfulness, when we're aware of what we're thinking and feeling in the moment, we develop that ability to stop, step back, and see things objectively. Yeah. I know that when I'm not in that place, I'm in the blender all the way around, right? And even if I can step back, I don't see it clearly because I can't see the forest for the trees, or, I can't see the trees for the forest, whichever way it's going for you at the time. And when I'm in that space, it just doesn't work. I don't make smart choices. How many of you have ever heard when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you should halt and not move forward or make a decision? I also like hungry, anxious, lonely, or tired. Either way, the acronym is HALT, HALT. I'm going to put that in here right now. Hungry, angry, lonely, tired. It's one of the best ways to be aware of what's going on for you. Are you hungry? Stop. Are you angry or anxious? Stop. Are you lonely? Stop. Are you tired? Stop. All right. So, to wrap up for today, we covered 4 main tips. Let's do a quick little review because the more we think about them, the more we review them, the more likely we're to remember them and put them into action. That's right, because applied knowledge is power. All right. So, here's the dealio: embrace good enough, set a timer. Reduce your options, use a pros and cons list, or you can get a free copy of my option elimination tool. Prioritization grid is what I've called it in the past. Seek input, but not permission, because you can gather other people's ideas and insights, but you don't need them to make the decision. Now, if you have a business partner, a spouse who makes decisions for your business, obviously, I'm not telling you to go around them. But if you're the head of your business, you're the head of your business. Am I right or am I right? All right. And then the last tip is to practice mindfulness. Be aware of what you're thinking and feeling so that you can take a moment, take a deep breath, step back, and make a decision that serves you well. Sound good, friends? All right. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in today. I hope our session was really helpful and inspiring for you when it comes to embracing imperfect decisions and taking bold steps going forward. Don't miss our next session where we will continue to explore strategies for helping you become the leader you want to be so you can have the team you deserve to have and everyone feels valued and appreciated and moving in the right direction. Remember, perfect is the enemy of good. And I already know you're great. Have an amazing day and keep leading vividly, friends. See you soon.